For decades, United States aircraft carriers ruled the seas, uncontested. Now the Gerald R. Ford arrives as a $13 billion answer to threats designed to keep carriers out. It is a ship armed with reactors that won't need refueling for a quarter century, electromagnetic catapults, and artificial intelligence-driven systems built for a new kind of war. Behind its power lies a simple question. Can this technological leap really guarantee American dominance? Or does it reveal the vulnerabilities of modern naval might? In the early 2000s, the world's oceans were no longer a sanctuary for American carriers. Military analysts watched as China tested the DF-21D, a missile designed to strike moving ships from over 900 miles away. Russia, too, modernized its arsenal, fielding long-range cruise missiles and stealthy submarines capable of tracking and attacking capital ships far from shore. The term anti-access area denial, A2AD, entered the lexicon describing a new kind of threat. Not just direct attack, but the ability to keep U.S. forces at arm's length, denying them the freedom to operate where they chose. Naval strategists warned that the old playbook, incremental improvements to proven designs, would not suffice. A carrier built to 1970 standards, even with upgrades, could be overwhelmed by coordinated missile salvos or cyber attacks targeting its control systems. War games and classified simulations showed that in a high-threat environment, survivability and relevance depended on more than armor or aircraft numbers. The Navy faced a choice: double down on what had worked for decades, or gamble on a new blueprint that could outpace evolving threats. One strategist put it simply: the oceans are shrinking. If our carriers cannot adapt, they will become the hunted, not the hunters. The calculus of power projection had changed. Range, speed, and brute force mattered, but so did electrical capacity, automation, and the ability to integrate technologies that had not yet left the drawing board. The Navy's answer was not a bigger ship, but a fundamentally different kind of ship, one that could generate more sorties, process information faster, and defend itself in an environment where the enemy's reach had grown longer than ever before. This was not a decision made lightly. Billions of dollars and the credibility of the Navy's entire carrier strategy were at stake. The Gerald R. Ford would not be another Nimitz with a fresh coat of paint. It would be a platform built for a world where the margin for error had all but disappeared, and where technological advantage was the only real shield against being pushed out of the fight. Deep inside the hull, two A-1B nuclear reactors form the beating heart of USS Gerald R. Ford. Each reactor, smaller and more efficient than its predecessors, produces 3 times the electrical power of what powered the Nimitz class. Reactor supervisors monitor digital displays instead of analog dials, overseeing a system that can run for 25 years without refueling. This excess power is not just for propulsion. It is a reserve built for the unknown: lasers, railguns, and sensors that may not exist for decades. Up above, the flight deck stretches over 1,000 feet, but it is the layout that sets it apart. The island, the ship's command tower, has been moved farther aft and shrunk in size. This single change frees up 25,000 more square feet, giving the flight deck leader more room to stage aircraft and clear paths for launches. 3 aircraft elevators, each guided by linear motors, move jets between the hangar and flight deck with a precision and speed that older cable-driven lifts could not match. Weapons elevators, also powered by magnets, snake bombs, and missiles from deep within the ship, bypassing busy aircraft lanes to avoid the bottlenecks that once slowed down rearming. A weapons petty officer uses the elevator's touchscreen controls, sending a full load of ordnance to the deck in seconds. Launching and recovering aircraft is no longer the domain of steam and hydraulics. The electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMALS, uses a surge of electromagnetic force to hurl jets skyward. Catapult operators now control launches with digital precision, dialing in the exact force for each aircraft, heavy strike fighters, or lightweight drones alike. The advanced arresting gear, spelled AG, pulls landing aircraft to a stop using electric motors that adjust in real time, reducing wear on airframes and broadening the range of recoverable planes. Together, these systems allow Ford to generate up to 25% more sorties per day than any carrier before it. While aircraft thunder overhead, a different kind of battle unfolds in the ship's combat center. The dual-band radar fuses S-band and X-band frequencies, tracking hundreds of targets at once, from incoming missiles to friendly aircraft circling overhead. There are no spinning dishes, just flat phased array panels and a web of computers, all managed by a single operator. This sensor fusion gives Ford the eyes and reflexes to survive in an environment where threats can appear from any direction at any moment. Every system, from the reactors to the radar, is designed to work together. The result is a ship that does not just carry more power, it turns that power into speed, flexibility, and a kind of operational tempo that was impossible on older carriers. The innovations are not just technical, they are personal. Every sailor, from the reactor supervisor to the flight deck crew, works with tools and systems built for a new era of warfare, where adaptability and speed are as vital as armor and firepower. At dawn, the flight deck hums with movement. Sailors in colored jerseys check cables and fuel lines as the first jets of the day are rolled into position. In May 2023, USS Gerald R. Ford left Norfolk with 4,600 crew and a carrier air wing bound for Europe. The mission changed overnight after the October 2023 attacks in Israel. Orders redirected the strike group to the Eastern Mediterranean. The deployment, planned for 6 months, stretched by nearly 3 more, pushing the crew through an 80-day extension in one of the world's most watched and unpredictable regions. For the Air Wing, every day meant launching and recovering aircraft on a relentless schedule. EMALS catapults sent FA-18s and growlers into the sky every few minutes, while advanced arresting gear caught them again, adjusting for each landing. The pace was unyielding. Combat air patrols, surveillance flights, and refueling runs were all coordinated from a bridge that never slept. Junior technicians logged thousands of launch and recovery cycles, troubleshooting digital systems that had only recently left the test range. One described the tempo as "no let up, every launch, every landing you are on." The ship's commander watched as the new technology, once doubted, proved itself under real pressure. Weapons elevators kept bombs and missiles flowing to the deck, rarely missing a beat. Automation below decks meant fewer hands, but more was expected from each sailor. The sense among the crew was clear. This was not just a test of machinery, but of people. By the time Ford returned to Norfolk in early 2024, the crew had shown what the ship could do when the world was watching. A single warship costing nearly $13 billion draws scrutiny in any era, but especially now, as defense budgets face pressure and new threats multiply. Congressional hearings, think tank panels, and late-night news segments have all questioned whether one ship can be worth so much, or whether the Navy is betting too heavily on a single platform. A defense policy analyst describes the dilemma. The analyst says the Ford is both a symbol and a test. If it works, it justifies the investment. If it falls short, it becomes the poster child for military overspending. Yet the Navy's calculus stretches far beyond the current fiscal year. The Gerald R. Ford is not just a ship for today's crises, it is a vessel built with a 50-year horizon in mind. Regional liaison officers point out that this kind of forward planning is rare. Most military hardware is obsolete in a decade. Ford is designed to grow into technologies we can barely imagine. The two A-1B nuclear reactors, with their immense electrical margin, are not only for propulsion and flight operations. They are a down payment on future systems, high-energy lasers, advanced radars, and unmanned aircraft that will define combat in the 2040s and the 2050s. The 2025 deployment to Latin America and the Caribbean underscores this long reach. While the ship's presence supports anti-trafficking operations and regional deterrence, it also sends a message about American commitment and flexibility. The cost is steep, but so is the ambition. The carrier can adapt as warfare evolves, integrating drones, directed energy weapons, and new forms of electronic warfare. For critics, the price tag remains a target. For advocates, it is the price of staying ahead in a world where technological surprise can decide the fate of fleets. Today, one ship carries enough power to shape events oceans away. As rivals invest in missiles and drones, the future of deterrence rides on technological edge, not just firepower. The real contest isn't about steel, but about staying ahead. The world is watching what sails next.